man. We got episode 3 of season 3 of Atlanta. I just uploaded the episodes 1 and 2 like a few days ago. Yeah, I think I watched them later than I thought after they released, but I literally just watched episode 3. I'm not sure if it came out today or yesterday or the day before. I'm not sure, but it was recent. And continuing right on with where I left off with episodes 1 and 2, it's incredible. This episode, as a lot of them do, really leaned into racial issues, but in a very subliminal way. And I think they use the tone of the show to really help portray different, I don't know how to put it. They use the tone of the show and the way they write it and the characters and everything they have at their disposal to give you almost a different viewpoint or different areas or different times in which you'll see kind of racial sensitivities to take place, or all these kind of things that have to do with race and even class and everything. They bring that up, and this was no different. And this was kind of the first episode of the season where they really leaned into it, where they're in a, it's funny just because they've had all this happen in other seasons when they're still in Atlanta and everything, and then now they're in London. I think for this episode they're in the UK, and so now you're seeing it on such a large spectrum. I think in what they encapsulate in this episode really leads me to believe that it's like that's why they're shooting this outside of America and in these different countries and all these other things, because they're trying to show how widespread all of this is, because it seems like a lot of difference in class and difference in race and everything is really the message this show tries to send, and I love it. And so I think them bringing the show to different countries really shows how wide the spectrum is for all of that. And this episode encapsulates that. Like, we have Fernando, the character who's a rich guy that dupes Al out of his money, and he's South African. And it's like, that definitely is rooted in class and in race, probably. But then we've also got Darius is running with a woman who we find out is the fiance of the character. Actually, we'll get into that. We have Darius has a run-in with a random woman who's Asian, and he tries to, at one point he's like behind her, and he tries to ask her if she can pass him a certain bottle of something. And she immediately, before he says, he just goes, "Excuse me," and she thinks he's hitting on her. And she's like, "I'm engaged, no. And then she says one thing about, she's like, "I'm just so used to," she's like, "I spent time in New York and I'm so used to black guys hitting on me." Which is, I don't know. But it ends up being like this cordial thing of him being like, "Oh, it's weird, but okay." And then they end up being very chummy, and they're fine. And then it seems, and then Darius meets this guy, Socks, who's, what name is that? Who's like this wild guy with a hairline you wouldn't believe. And they have another discussion that has very deep ropes into race and class and everything. And you find this Socks guy ends up spreading this false rumor throughout the entire house that this woman is racist, and she made these really racially insensitive remarks to Darius, when it really was, it was very cordial. And Darius keeps reiterating the whole episode. He's like, there's so much worse out there. And I think that really goes to show, it's like, Darius is like, bad that they have to put up with any of that, but Darius is like, there's so many bigger things going on, and these people are hyper, focusing on this one little thing, almost for themselves, to feel like they are less racist, or they're more supportive, or it's not about them, it's about this person. It's like, throw all the blame on one person, even though what you're doing in doing that is almost worse. It is worse, you know what I mean? Where it's like, she's also Asian, she's not black, but she's also, and it's like, they're putting on her. There's a thought too, it's like, is it because she's white, or because she's not white? And it just unpacks so many things. It keeps you thinking. And even now, I'm like, I probably should have watched the episode 3 times, or give myself time to think about it so I could process it completely. But I just wanted to give a fresh take. I think that alone shows so much. And then you've also got Ern's storyline, where he is he's trying to, this one other kid who's who's a rapper in the UK, and he's trying to play this manager of his, or this guy who's just basically paying for him to rent out this really expensive studio. And the rapper kid is black and the guy is white, and so it's this whole balance of he's playing the white guy to pay for all this stuff, even though he's really not doing anything. And Ern catches on to that and is like, I want no part of it. And then the rapper kid goes up to him, and the Will is the name of the white guy who's paying for all this, and he's really oblivious. And then you find out that the rapper kid knows exactly what he's doing, and goes up to Ern at one point and is like, "We know what we're doing, we're playing them for the culture because they do this to us and everything." And while it's true, Ern is kind of yeah, but I want no part of that. Like, why would I want to do that? And so he goes up and basically flips it on its head, and he goes like, all right, if we're going to play that, I'm going to play it for myself. And instead of giving money to this kid to rent out the studio, he's like, how about I become your manager? So then the kid has to work, because then everything he does, Earn makes 30%. And so it's one of these like Earn going completely kicking the race thing out of it, getting the class thing out of it. He's like, it's business. And it's like, it's really cool just to see he outsmarted the whole thing. And the Will guy's none the wiser, because he's like, it's all the same to me. I just wanted to spend the money, because he's like this really naive but nice guy. And also, and that also lends it in where it's like, I think he, like this kid is this TJ kid, that's the name of the little rapper. Like, I think Will is another one where it's like, he's really only giving him all this money, even though he's not doing anything, because it's like, he's probably the one black rapper that's giving him the time of day. And so it's like, he feels less racist doing it. It's like, I think it's a self-aggrandizing thing with white people in this that they're really trying to show is like, they'll go just as far as they need to feel like they're part of it and not like against it, or do it for themselves. It's like not for anybody, it's for themselves. And there's even this scene where, I'm not going to go into detail, but like Earn looks at a painting, and I don't know, it's talking about the first bank, and then you see in the background they're sitting. There's a lot that goes on in this episode. I hate giving out too much detail because I want people to watch these episodes. I don't want to give it all away myself, because I think this show, especially like just the subject matter they cover, is really important. So I don't want to be the one to be like giving you any reason to be like, I don't need to see it now. I will just say that the themes and the stories they tell and the things they bring up and the subjects they touch on, not just what they talk about, but how they talk about it, how they bring it up, is intriguing and thought-provoking and just really, really interesting. And I'm so excited to keep watching. Also, Zazie Beetz' character, sorry, I always forget one character's name every time, but she's a mess. We don't really know what's going on with her. And at the end of the episode, they, in their usual, I think another like almost like surface level theme is that they keep finding that like Al, Earn, and Darius keep finding themselves in situations where they just don't belong. And it's like, they really kind of hone in on the fact like these are like some like down on their luck Atlanta kids at the root of everything, and they're now all the way up here, and it's like, you can see that their actions and who they are still hasn't changed at the root of it, so they don't really belong in these places as far as they think, because they're not going to change how they act. And all these places they're going, people want them to act different. And so by the end of almost all these episodes where you see, it's like they end up fucking something up and jetting out of there, and it's no difference with this one. It's like the people fuck them over, so then they go, we're not going to get fucked over, and so they start stealing shit, and they run the fuck out, and they book it out of there in the usual fashion. They get a car, and they're in the car, and they start laughing, and then they immediately, I'm like, the three of them are there, but they also had Zazie Beetz' character with them, and she wasn't there. And so you're like, where's it? But they don't even touch on that. They start laughing, and then you find out that the driver is this Sox guy, who was the crazy kid who started the whole racist rumor to begin with. And so you kind of immediately got the tone like, oh, he's not a great person. And so now they're stuck in a car with him, and he pulls off. And then the last shot during the credits is you see Zazie Beetz' character had found herself at some like Chinese restaurant, it seemed, out there. And you see Earn calling her, and she denies the call. So I'm hoping the next episode is almost a part 2 to this, where it's like you find out what happened to them. But I also wouldn't be surprised if it's a usual Atlanta thing where it's like they never really pick up, and you find out like nothing ever really happened or nothing important happened, and it's just picking up from another day. Either way, I'm fine with, but I think it'd be funny just to see where they end up in this. But yeah, it's very, very good. I know I haven't even done like highlights and lowlights, because for this show, there's no lowlights. It's just such a great show. So I'm just going to give out this, I just really gave out the special highlights, which I think for this one, really the themes. I think they're all very funny. I think Al's very funny, Darius very funny, Earn's very funny. It's just really, I'm still also getting used to like being like, having them back, and like having, after 2 years plus of not having a new season of this, it's just nice to watch it again. And so I think until it gets a bit later in the seasons, I'm probably not going to have specific highlights and lowlights, especially until my opinion of it changes from essentially going, this is all perfect, this is amazing, because right now that's kind of where I'm at, and I'm enjoying it. And I think you should enjoy it too, which is the only purpose I'm really posting these for, because I'm really giving you no detail other than the themes that are going on. So if whoever's watching this is watching this for any reason at all, just go watch the show, man. You don't even need to watch these reviews. Just go enjoy it. It's a really, really, probably one of the most socially important, if not the most socially important show on television right now, in my opinion. I think that Donald Glover really has a way about storytelling, and the subject matter he's trying to talk about, while it's also very on brand with him, it's eye-opening and thought-provoking, like I said. So go watch it, please. Atlanta season 3. This is Atlanta season 3, episode 3. I was holding up a 2. Season 3, episode 3. Go check it out.